What's up, YouTube? Hope everyone's having an absolutely blessed day today. If this is your first time to the channel, guys, please check out the other content. If it's content that you find valuable and that you like, please go ahead and subscribe. It'll help out the channel. If you're a returning subscriber and new, guys, hey, I appreciate y'all so much. So, what I have here, guys, I've got some notes on my phone, and I've had lots of people ask me questions in the comments and in person. Bunch of different questions that I wanted to answer about the trip that we took up to Tail of the Dragon. So we rode from Florida up through Georgia, to North Carolina, and Tennessee. So if you go watch out if you go watch the other videos out there about the Dragon and the Florida trip up to the Dragon, you'll see what all we done there. But I've got questions from people, and I wanted to kind of go ahead and answer some of them. So one of them was, so why did I take the Lowrider S instead of the Road Glide? Well, taking the Lowrider S, it would force me to be more conscientious of my son riding his dyno. I have found myself, when me and him go on trips sometimes and I take the Road Glide, I will tend to ride further than I would typically ride on this without stopping. I'll end up pushing him sometimes. So on this long trip, I wanted to make sure that I didn't push him too much, and I was staying conscientious of him. So again, he has a 5-gallon tank, I had a 5-gallon tank, to where we're going to stop at roughly the same time. I'm not going to be quite as comfortable on the Lowrider S versus the Road Glide as he would, so that would force me to want to stop a little bit more. So we went 1,398 miles in 3 days and a few hours. So saying that, I just wanted to make sure I was being conscientious of that and not pushing him too hard. The other was, I wanted to see if I could take a long trip on a Softail. So I've got friends of mine, and they have Fat Bobs and Road Kings and stuff like that, anything without a fairing in this. And you hear a lot of times, well, I can't go on long, I can't go ride long distances because I don't have a fairing on my bike, or I don't have this. So guys, you can go buy a windshield, you can go buy a Memphis Shades Road Warrior fairing, get the right size. That's what I run on this. I get no buffeting up to roughly 75, 76 miles an hour. After that, I do start getting a little bit on this. I could probably change the windshield up a little bit, but it works fine for me. Any 75 and lower, I typically don't have any issues on this bike. So I can go to speed limit and then a little bit. So with saying that, I wanted to see if I could really go on a longer trip on the Lowrider S. Softail, and I will tell you guys, if you've got a Softail or you've got a bike like a Road King or something that doesn't have, get yourself a fairing, get yourself a windshield or something on there to keep that wind from beating you on your chest and trying to push you off the bike, and go take the trips. You can do it. If you want to do it, you can do it. So another reason is, this was my first trip. There's hills around where I live, not mountains, right? I had never ridden a motorcycle in the mountains before. I had a choice. I had the Lowrider S, or I had my Road Glide. I wanted to take the Lowrider S. I think it was a little bit lighter bike. I figured, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. It's been quite a few years since I've been to the mountains. I've driven up through those areas in cars before, but it's completely different. So with me, I wanted to take a little bit lighter bike, and I had that option. If I didn't have this, I would have took it on the Road Glide. And I almost did. I actually had the Road Glide packed and unpacked it and put everything back on this bike right here, and ended up taking this bike. But I did have it packed the night before, and then ended up coming back out and taking this, and it's because of those other things. Another question, do I regret taking this bike over the Road Glide? The answer is no. Guys, I had a phenomenal time. Me and my friends that we went up there with, we had a great time. We Google ended up putting us off the beaten path a couple times. We had a couple. We got put onto, it had rained a lot. We got put onto a road that was a little bit muddy. We went mud bogging on Harley Davidsons, guys. It can be done. We done it slow, and it took us a while to get through there, but we went it, and we had a great time. We had to wash the bikes a couple times to get all the mud and all caked out the mud, but we had a blast, guys. So, do I regret taking this bike? Not at all. Was it quite as comfortable as the Road Glide? No, but I have no regrets. Do I think it was the right decision for me to take this bike? By all means, yes. I took this bike, and you just heard me say some of the reasons why. And would I take this bike again on another road trip? Yes, I would. A couple things I might do a little bit different, and we'll get into that in just a minute. So what would I do differently on the next trip if I took the Lowrider S? So I would get bigger saddlebags. I have the Thrashing Essential saddlebags, guys. They work exactly and they do exactly what they're supposed to do. They're very small. They're for essential items that you put in there to have, but they're not for anything else. So I was able to put some tools, a jump box, and a tire plugging kit, little mini air compressor in the saddlebags, and a bike lock, and I think one or two little small selfie sticks, and that was it. You're not putting anything else in those bags. They were maxed to the hill. What would I do differently on the next trip if I took the Lowrider S? I would probably do something like the leather-proof saddlebags. I've seen reviews on them. I've seen them in person. I don't think they look as good as the Essential saddlebags or even something like that, but you really need something you can put stuff in. You can stuff stuff into when you're on a multi-day trip. Because this bag here, when I got to the hotel, I unstrapped it, picked it up by a handle, and carried it and left it in the hotel room. So it went from the house to the hotel room, from the hotel room to the next hotel room, and then back to the house. I don't ride with this on the bike. So you really need a saddlebag that you can put stuff in. So I would do something like a Legend suspension on the back and in the front if I was going to keep this bike and tour on it a lot. So I think I would do something like that. If I take another road trip, would I take the Lowrider S or take my Road Glide? So guys, I'm not 100% sure right now, but I would lean toward taking the Road Glide. So we did 1,398 miles. We got back a few days later. I went and jumped on the Road Glide, and I run about 25 miles from the house. Had to run pick something up. I decided to take my Road Glide. And crawling onto the Road Glide versus riding this bike, you don't get all the vibrations. The bike is a lot smoother. It's a more comfortable ride. Even though this has a mini variant on it, it doesn't still block the wind quite as well as the Road Glide does. So it was just, I put 1,400 miles, roughly 1,400 miles on this bike, and then crawled onto that bike, and it is a night and day difference when you compare them like that. Just the smoothness, the ride quality, and all. So when I think about that. I had people ask me, now that I've took this on a long trip and I've done an iron button all with the Road Glide, what bike am I going to take the sturdiest? Well, guys, I will tell you, I think it's going to depend on how we get the sturdiest. Right now, current plan is a friend of mine he's got a motorhome and an enclosed trailer, and he's going to hook his enclosed trailer up to his motorhome. He's going to swing by the house here. He's a few hours from me. He's going to swing by the house here, pick up my son and I, and we're going to take 3 days getting the Sturgis. It's like 1,750 miles from my house to where we're going to be at in Sturgis. So we're roughly 700 miles the first 2 days. We'll probably sleep in a little bit the next day and then get there that afternoon and be able to check in. So when I say that, if we do that, I still haven't made up my mind yet, but I may take the Lowrider S. If we decide to ride from here to there, there's no doubt I will take the road glide. Just because that is 1,750 miles there, 1,750 miles back, plus we're going to probably put 150, maybe 200 miles a day while we're there on the bike. So when I say that, I think that if we end up going that route, I would end up riding up there. I would take the road glide hands down. The other is for storage. I have a lot more storage. This Vikings bag, I packed everything in here that I had in that bike. But I can put this on that bike if we ride up there and still have room for more stuff. So when I say that, this bag right here will sit on there, and I just got to strap it on, and it will be good to go. So I can have plenty and plenty and plenty of storage to be able to take the road glide up there. Plus, I just put that little rack on top of the tour pack, so I can strap a small duffel bag with other items in it also. So I can really load down that road glide and take a long trip. You can pack a lot of stuff on that bike to go up there. So, but saying all that, if I took if I decided to ride up there, there's no doubt I would take the road glide. If things fall as it's planned right now, and we decide to trailer up, I would decide to take the Lowrider S, but it just depends. We'll see as time gets closer. This is really all to say, do I think I made the right decision taking it? Yeah. Do I think that there are excuses out there why other people don't take the trip, and they use that I don't have a bagger or I don't have a touring style bike, so I can't go on a long motorcycle trip? Guys, I'll tell you, in my opinion, that's an excuse. If you are using that as an excuse, that just really means you really don't want to go on a trip. I think that, in my opinion, I think that if you really want to go on the trip, you'll find a way to go on the trip. You might have to stop a little bit more often. Whether I'm on this bike or that bike, around 150 miles, 125 to 150 mile range, I'm looking for a place to pull over. I want to pull over, I want to stretch for a minute, get me a drink of water, go ahead and top off the gas, go to the bathroom if I need to, and get back on the bike and go. You can do that on a Sportster, guys. You can tour on the Sportster. There's channels out there where people have taken really long rides on the Sportster. You just got to work to go on the ride. You need to have a few things. You need to have a decent bag that you can put stuff in. Me, I'm fortunate that I have the Road Glide and the Lowrider S. I know everybody doesn't have them. I've got a very understanding wife that, as long as I take care of her needs and all, she doesn't complain too much about what I do. So she is a wonderful woman. So I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed. But I will say that if I only had one bike, I would do what I want to do on one bike, whether that was the Lowrider S or the Road Glide. Or if I had a Sportster, if that's all I had, and I wanted to take a trip, I would get on the Sportster and take a trip. I would figure out how to do it. So guys, remove the excuses. If you really want to go on the trip, if it really means something to you, you really want to go do things, you can do those things. You just gotta be prepared for it. This bike, the Lowrider S, you can tour on it. You can tour on the street bob. Are you going to be able to go as far on one tank of gas on a street bob as you can on a Lowrider S or a Road Glide or something? No, the tank's too small. They're like 3.5 gallons. And you're going to stop every 120 miles, 100 miles or whatever. Are they going to be as comfortable? No, you're going to want to stop a little bit more often. Before your body gets tired, stop a little bit, stretch, do some twisting, do something to be able to limber up and be able to enjoy the ride. Did we have a few little hiccups on this ride? Yeah, we did. My brake caliper fell off, right? that's been settled. I've worked out with the Harley dealership that happened. They've actually made it right with me. So I'm not going to throw their name out there or bash them or anything. It was a mistake that they said that they've addressed. They've taken actions to make sure that that doesn't happen again to anyone else. And so I feel comfortable with that. And it really wasn't about the money or anything like that. I spent less than $25 fixing it myself, just because I had to buy parts to make it work, and then I had to buy the right parts while we were gone. If I would have been here where I live, they would have taken care of it, no problem. But right now, I feel like I'm rambling on, guys. I'm not trying to make the video any longer, but anyway, if you want to tour, you can tour. You don't have to have a touring friend bike to be able to go enjoy yourself and have rides. So anyway, if you're new to the channel, guys, please check out the content. If it's content that you like, please consider subscribing. If you're a returning viewer and subscriber, guys, I appreciate y'all so much, and I hope everyone has an absolutely blessed day. Thank you.